What's up, guys? Welcome back. This video is actually taken the same exact day as the other first person video that we did, talking about the inside out there in like the living room and stuff like that, when I was repairing those pinholes and screw holes with that roofing repair, like butyl tape and whatnot. So this is same day, just like in a third person view, so that I can like talk more directly and whatnot. So pretty much my step-by-step plan for rebuilding this mobile home is pretty much as followed, right? So mainly step one, finish repairing and fixing all of the perimeter rim joists for the flooring, and because those pretty much hold up your actual wall frames. So the way that these places are built, right? So you got your actual metal trailer frame, okay? Then you have your wooden flooring frame with all your floor joists in it. And then you have your actual floor that would go down on top of all your floor joists and framing. And then your exterior perimeter walls, all those wall frames then sit on those. And then your ceiling sits on top of that. And that's just the way that they built them from the assembly lines, because they kind of build them like on, like pretty much an assembly line, like a production line, like a car or really anything else like that. They build them piece by piece from the bottom, and they build them up, floor, walls, roof. It's quite interesting. If you guys haven't actually seen that, because I've seen a few, those videos online on YouTube and stuff of inside the actual assembly plants at like mobile home manufacturers, actually like shows you inside the factory of these things being built, piece by piece. It's pretty cool. If you've never seen that before, go check that out. It's definitely give you a better understanding as to how these are actually, built when they're new and whatnot. But the way that we're doing it, I think we're going to put the wall framing down directly on the actual rim joist, instead of wall frame, floor, and then the floor sits on the rim joist. I think we're going to attach the wall frame directly to the floor joist, and then we're going to butt up another joist in front of that, and then that's going to hold the flooring on the edge to that wall. So the floor is going to sit, and the floor is going to butt up to the wall, not actually sit inside the wall, if that makes sense, right? It's just easier to build it that way. Another reason, because the factory rim joists for this place are like 2x5s, which is really like 4.5, not actually 5. But a 2x6, is like 5.5. So you got 4.5 inches versus 5.5 inches. And because we're putting 2x6s back in, and because I'm pretty sure you can't really get 2x5s anymore unless you have them like actually specifically cut for you at like a lumber yard or something like that, you're really going to be using 2x6s, but because the 2x6s are like 1.5 inches taller than the factory 2x5s, that extra inch is where that floor would have sat. So that 2x6, that 1.5 inches extra is taking up the gap of where the floor would have sat inside the wall. And that's why we're doing it that way, because if we don't, then we're either going to have to cut a full 1.5 inches off of every 2x6 that we have, or we're going to have to shorten the wall and raise the wall up, which we definitely don't want to do that, because that's a lot of work. Or, like I said, we just put the wall frame directly on this new 2x6, and it just sits like that, and everything is still sized correctly. Don't even have to modify or really do anything. Everything's exactly the same for the most part. Same heights and everything. So that's probably the quickest, easiest way to do it. I think that's the way that we're going to do it. It doesn't make it any less strong or any more strong. I mean, there's really literally no structural difference at all doing it that way. Because think of it like this, your wall frame, sits on the floor sits on the joist. That wall frame is still technically, it's sitting on the floor that's sitting on the joist. So it's still being all held up by the joist. So there's really no difference in just putting the wall frame itself directly on the joist, because it's literally like the same exact thing. You know what I mean? I think the only reason they put the flooring into the wall is to hold it, on those sides and those edges, to hold it up and whatnot. I don't really think it's an actual structural thing. But because we're adding another joist in front of the wall frame, that floor will it'll still butt up to the wall frame, and it'll be held by that new joist that we put in instead of going into the wall, if that makes any sense. I don't know. And it'll work that way because we already test fitted a few of it in that back room. And yeah, it's literally the same because all those joists sit on metal framing, so it's strong, so there's really no difference there. So that's what pretty much the main thing is, you know what I mean? Finish getting the entire rim joist perimeter of the place rebuilt, replace, some joists, replace some bottom plates, a couple of bottom halves of some wall studs and whatnot. Then once that's all done, then we can actually go to putting insulation in the floors and putting actual floors down, like some actual plywood sheeting down, and actually making a floor. And then once that's done, everything literally else after that is cakework. If all the flooring and all the framing is done, we can pretty much immediately go to fixing all the electrical and then literally putting all the insulation in the walls and putting the drywall up. I think we have to put the drywall on the ceiling up first before you do the walls, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can do it either way or whatnot, but I think you're supposed to put the ceiling up first before you put the walls on. I don't know, but whichever order that goes is how we're gonna do it. And then after that, really, everything else is pretty much just a walk in the park. It's just getting the framing and flooring done is the biggest thing, the most time-consuming thing. Everything after that is all uphill from there. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much it. Also, we noticed that we developed some leaks, not developed. They've obviously been there before we moved in or whatnot. But we found some leaks in a couple of different spots in the roof, unfortunately. So in the meantime, before we can actually get up there and actually repair roof stuff, we're pretty much just gonna go get some pretty thick, like heavy duty, like tarps, and we're gonna throw them up on top of the roof, and we're gonna use those little grommet holes that are in the sides of them, right? And we're gonna put like clips or carabiners in those, and then we're gonna attach like string or rope, and then those are gonna go to tent stakes that are gonna go into the ground, and it's gonna hold that tarp onto that roof and prevent it from flying out and blowing away or something if a wind comes in. And then we'll probably also carefully place some like bricks, not full cinder blocks, like the half flat blocks, and place those throughout different spots of the roof to also keep the tarp down to where it won't blow away as well. You know what I mean? And that should, if you get a good thick heavy duty tarp, I mean, it should keep the rain out fairly good, hopefully, right? That's the cheapest really thing you can do in the time being for keeping water out of the ceiling. That's definitely the cheapest, most budget friendly option, and it'll work, if you get a good enough quality tarp and whatnot. we'll do the whole roof like that. Keep it on there really till whenever the day comes to, I guess, have someone actually go up there legitly and actually fix the roof. I don't know. But in the meantime, those tarps should work in the time being, you know what I mean, until it can actually get repaired. And then, like I said, before that even happens, got to get the rest of this framing done and get this thing built, you know what I mean, get it completed, right? So we actually start moving in and actually like start living in it, Well, all right, that's pretty much it. Just a little bit more detail and whatnot. I'm gonna jump off here and we'll catch you guys in the next one.